What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got to talk about Jim Ryan speaking some heavy words about PlayStation. So, we've talked about him in the past. My dear God, it's obviously been quite a up and down, actually just mainly down few weeks when it comes to PlayStation. But you know what? There really has been some ups because them reversing their stance on the PlayStation Store, right? PS3 and PS Vita. Save the PS Vita for the love of God. Find a PS Vita and buy it if it's even still being sold, which I don't think it is. But, there's been ups and downs, okay? And now today, like literally today, Jim Ryan has spoken again about the PS5, and he said some pretty good things. People have very mixed opinions about him. I have very mixed opinions about him because when he talks, he does say some believable, cool things, and then a lot of their actions do kind of come through with these. Or a lot of their I guess their words are proven by their actions. You just have things like Days Gone. You have things like Sony Japan or Japan Studios being basically shut down. Like, there are definitely weaknesses and there's bad things and there's the stigma and the idea of PlayStation. But look, Jim Ryan saying today, and I think almost word for word, the PS5 is going to have more exclusives. And he did say PS5, not PlayStation, like it'll be PS4 and PS5. PS5 will have more exclusives than any other PlayStation console that's ever happened. Now, again, that's very bold words because really all of them. PS4 had a ton of exclusives. PS3 was very high, and obviously now if he's talking about like PS2, I mean PS2 is kind of the golden era of PlayStation. There was a lot of games, so I don't know if he's literally saying a number, number to number match, but those are big words. And obviously, we got another collaboration between Sony and Firewalk Studios, which is a bunch of Destiny, former Destiny developers. They're going to be making a AAA, a brand new IP multiplayer game. Obviously, a few months ago, we had another studio form that's going to be working specifically with PlayStation on an exclusive. So, that is what's tough. I don't want to purposely like go after Sony because I'm actually a PlayStation guy. So like I don't actively like look for things to make fun of them or to call them out. Like I want everybody. I want Microsoft to be just nice and solid and not have a lot of issues. And they talk big and these games come out and they're really amazing and they have all these studios and all this stuff. Like I want these things to happen. I want PlayStation to not have downs. I just want everybody to have ups. That's a very optimistic way of thinking that could just never happen, but I don't like being negative and criticizing them. And even like right now, like, am I trying to find negative things about Jim Ryan and PlayStation? Because again, it's very mixed. Like the thing is, I believe him. I do think when all's said and done, the PS5 is going to have a lot of exclusives. I mean, right now, it hasn't. Let's just be flat honest. And we're only like 5-6 months into, the PlayStation 5's life cycle. We had Demon's Souls, and we've had, Destruction All-Stars. Am I missing? I mean, I'm sure there's maybe like one or two others that are, I guess Astro's Playroom, right, that are only on PS5. And a lot of them are good. I actually kind of like Destruction All-Stars. I liked it when people played it for the first like 2.5 days, and then the game completely died. But, I think they've done a pretty solid job. Returnal, I mean, I am number one on the bandwagon. If you guys watch the main channel, I've covered that game countless times there. I've seen people talk about the preview, and people are reviewing the game behind the scenes. The game honestly seems like it's going to get very, very high scores, and it's going to be one of those kind of surprising game of the year, even contenders. Ratchet and Clank. I mean, Sony ultimately needs to speak with actions. They can't and that's the kind of thing, right? They can't just speak, because behind the scenes you do have the Japan studio thing falling apart, right? And you could say, well, you know what? Those games aren't very successful. They didn't sell well. Yes. And you could say, well, Sony is at a point now where they can't take... I've been watching a lot of David Jaffe when he did the interviews with the creators of Days Gone. And one of the things he said, which I kind of agree with, is like, as Sony gets bigger, they can't roll the dice on as many risky projects as they used to. It's a thing where you kind of have to just understand that or accept. I mean, I guess you don't have to accept it, but you can at least understand why they're doing it. And if you don't like it, that's totally up to you. You have every right to, and this is me saying this, you have every right to be upset about it. And that's kind of where I am, where it's like, I said this before, I get why you cancel Days Gone 2. I do. I don't get it right now because the game is now, I would say, more popular maybe than ever before. I think the game has done really well long term, whereas maybe, that first month or two, if you pitch a Days Gone 2, the answer is probably no. But if you pitch it a year and a half later, answer, I would say, should change, okay? So, I get why you would have said no in the beginning. I get, in a way, why you would say, okay, Japan Studios, you make a lot of them. I mean, these games are amazing. Gravity Rush, you even go back to the games like Puppeteer. I mean, they've made incredible games, but they don't sell. Nobody buys them. Nobody bought Gravity Rush. I bought Gravity Rush 1 and 2. I love those games to death. I want a third game, but nobody bought them. So, again, it's a mixed thing where it's like you understand why. It just kind of sucks because it's like PlayStation was always known as a very diverse, high-quality portfolio of games, even though they didn't all sell. But we're now at a point where it's like, well, they can't do that anymore. They can't give $100 million to a team to make a game that's just not going to sell. So again, it's kind of like, I don't like it, but I understand it in a way. But again, there is some negativity there, and there was obviously negativity what they've done with the store. Obviously, people are talking about the CMOS battery stuff in the PlayStations. I mean, they can fix that with a patch if they wanted to, or if they want to in the future. I don't think it's the most dire thing right now. The store's closing would have been the more dire thing, currently. But again, they kind of reversed it. Although the PSP store is still going to be closed. But, they've reversed that. But again, actions speak louder than words. But the interesting thing is, the actions are actually there. Returnal comes out next week. Ratchet & Clank comes out. That'll give Sony right there, okay? Even if you ignore Destruction All-Stars. Returnal, and I guess you could, there's a couple other games there. But even you go Demon Souls, Returnal, Ratchet & Clank. 3 really big games, I would say. Big games, at least 2, if you don't want to count Returnal, if that's your preference. But 3 really big games in 6 months. Now, that doesn't sound like too much, but you go to Xbox, they've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. The medium, I would say, doesn't count. And actually, I would say it doesn't count even more because it also comes out on PC. And I know PC, Microsoft, Xbox, all that stuff. But in reality, an exclusive to the Series XS console, big time, big exclusive. And I'm not picking on them. I'm just saying it's kind of it's interesting because we talk about how Microsoft is doing so well and Microsoft is winning. And I mean, I've praised the heck out of Microsoft over the last year. They've killed it. But then you look at it as well in a different kind of scope and you say, you know what? They've released literally nothing. And Sony is about to release, again, over a 6-month period, 3 really big exclusives. So actions do speak. I'm not saying Microsoft's doomed. I think in 2022, 2023, when 7, 8, 9 Microsoft exclusives start coming out, they're gonna kill it. It's gonna be insane, okay? And it's gonna be a good kind of insane because it's not gonna be oh, they're crushing Sony or Sony's, and I never even want that. They're crushing Sony, Sony's crushing Microsoft. How about they all are just good? There's great games everywhere, and you should try to play all of them. Maybe get both consoles, maybe get a PC that can run the Xbox games, and then get a PS5. However you do it, play the games. That's where I stand. I've always stood on that. Play the games. I will go to where the games are. If I can only play a game in one place, I'll go get it if I really care about that game, right? That's my mentality. It's always been my mentality, and I really try to drive that home, especially with the internet and what I've noticed as these channels have gotten bigger and people obviously start console wars in the comments and stuff like that. It's I don't want any part of it. So actions do speak louder than words, but Sony's honestly proving it with the games releasing, with partnerships. Again, this is 2 studios now in 2-3 months that have formed out of nothing. Now, they're not PlayStation-owned studios, but they're studios that were created recently, whether it's a year ago, 2 years ago, whenever, that they've partnered with, that their next game will be exclusive to just PlayStation. So that's important. You need those kind of things in order to, because you don't have too many studios working, that they own, because they've closed a lot of them. So they don't have that many studios left working on PlayStation exclusive games, right? Again, they focus very heavily on the biggest teams, right? The Naughty Dogs, the Insomniacs, but then you need stuff like this too in order to be competitive. So, it's interesting because there's a lot of negativity, but then there's actually a lot, if you look at it just in a different way, there's a lot of good. So the only thing I want from them, in addition to kind of what we already have, is to be able to roll the dice on riskier projects. That's really it. That's the only, and you could say, well, Alex, Returnal is kind of that. And I'd actually agree because Returnal is a game that is from Housemarque, who's never made a game that's over $20, $30. That's normally very small, indie, top-down, action PlayStation or arcade games, right? And now they're making Returnal, and Sony's charging full price for it. So I would say that's pretty darn risky. Now, again, that's one. There's obviously more that you could do. So it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? Do you believe Jim Ryan? Do you think that we are going to get the most exclusives ever for the PS5? What do you think about the situation at Sony? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And I do a brand new video on this channel every single day. So I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.